The last thing anyone saw of Adiz was her red wrapper disappearing between the trees. No scream. No struggle. Just silence, and then the wind, blowing the wrong way. In the village of Agwoma, there was a rule older than the oldest elder. Do not enter the Aqua Grove after the evening drum. The grove sat at the edge of the village like a shadow that refused to leave. The trees there were ancient, their roots twisted above the ground like fingers reaching for something they could never grab. Children were told never to throw stones into it. Women never fetched firewood near it. Even the bravest hunters took longer paths to avoid walking beside it at dusk. Everyone in Agwoma knew the rule. Everyone except Adiz, or rather, Adiz knew it. She simply did not believe it. She was 17. Beautiful in the way that makes trouble follow beauty. Quick with her tongue, quicker with her laughter. The village women said she walked like she owned the ground beneath her feet. Her mother said she was gifted. Her grandmother said she was too much. Adiz had one flaw that would cost her everything: she did not believe in things she could not see. Spirits? Curses? She would wave her hand and click her tongue. Old people and their old fears. But that was just the beginning. It started on a Tuesday, the day of the new moon, when the sky offers no light and the world belongs to things unseen. Adiz had been fighting with her mother again. About a boy. About respect. About coming home before the evening drum. She stormed out of their compound with fire in her chest and tears threatening her eyes. She walked. And walked. And walked, until she realized the path beneath her feet had gone quiet. Too quiet. The insects had stopped singing. The frogs were silent. Even the wind held its breath. She looked up. She was standing at the mouth of the Aqua Grove. Any other girl would have turned back. But Adiz, stubborn, proud Adiz, looked into those dark, tangled trees and felt something she had never felt before. A pull. Not fear. Not curiosity. Something deeper. Something warm, like a voice without words whispering, "Come, come, come." She told herself she would only step in for a moment. Just to prove there was nothing there. She stepped in. The air changed immediately. Cooler. Heavier. Like breathing inside a dream. The trees closed behind her, and for one terrible second, she could not see the village lights anymore. What happened next still haunts me. She heard a sound. Soft at first. Like humming. A woman's voice, low and sweet and terribly beautiful. Adiz followed it the way a moth follows flame. Through the twisted roots, past trees marked with symbols she did not recognize, toward a small clearing where a fire burned with no wood beneath it. And there, sitting beside the fire, was an old woman. The old woman smiled at Adiz with teeth too white and too many. "I have been waiting," the old woman said. "You took longer than I expected." Adiz froze. You were waiting? For me? For someone like you?" The woman's eyes caught the firelight. "Someone who does not believe. Those are the easiest to teach. I didn't understand it then, but I do now." The old woman was not a woman at all. She was Yulo Aji, the grove keeper. A spirit bound to that forest since before Agwoma had a name. She did not take the wicked or the evil. She took the proud. The ones who walked through the world with their chins too high to see what was beneath their feet. And Adiz had walked right to her. The old woman reached out and touched Adiz's hand, and Adiz could not pull away. Not because she was held. But because in that one touch, she saw everything. She saw her mother, crying at the compound gate. She saw her grandmother, on her knees in the dirt, praying. She saw the village men gathering torches. She saw her own footprint stopping at the edge of the grove. She saw that time, inside the grove, was not the same as time outside it. She had been inside for what felt like minutes. Outside, 3 days had passed. "Let me go," Adiz whispered. Her voice had no strength left. "Please. Let me go home." The grove keeper tilted her head. "You may go. But nothing leaves this grove unchanged." The fire went out. Darkness, total, complete darkness, swallowed everything. Adiz ran. She ran until her wrapper tore on the roots, until her feet bled, until she could see the village lights flickering through the trees. She burst out of the grove screaming her mother's name. And fell. The villagers found her at the edge of the forest, face down in the red soil, unconscious. She was breathing. But when she woke up, she did not speak for 7 days. When she finally spoke, the first words out of her mouth were not her own. They were words in a language no one in Agwoma recognized. Old words. Ancient words. Words that made the elders go pale and quiet. Her grandmother knew. She had seen it before, long ago, in another village, in another lifetime. Adiz had been marked. Not cursed to suffer. Cursed to know. From that day, she could see things others could not. Hear voices in wind. Feel illness in bodies before symptoms showed. The grove keeper had not destroyed her. She had remade her. But the girl who walked into that grove, laughing, proud, and certain, never came back. Adiz lived to old age. She became one of the most respected healers Agwoma had ever known. People came from 3 villages over to sit at her feet. She never laughed carelessly again. She never dismissed what she could not see. But every evening, without fail, she would sit outside her compound and watch the tree line. And sometimes, just sometimes, the villagers would see her nod slowly, as if answering someone no one else could hear. Her mother never asked what happened inside that grove. "Some truths," she said, "are too big for questions. The ancestors teach us this. Pride is a door. And pride always opens toward the dark." Adiz did not enter that grove out of evil. She entered out of arrogance, out of the belief that she was too modern, too smart, too alive to be touched by things older than herself. Africa is full of wisdom that does not announce itself. It waits. It watches. And when the time comes, it teaches. Do not walk through doors your elders sealed with blood and prayer. Not every boundary is a wall meant to cage you. Some walls are there to protect you from what lives on the other side. If this story moved something inside you, something old, something true, then you are already sitting under the baobab with us. Subscribe to Tales Under Baobab. A new story waits for you every week, stories that breathe, stories that linger, stories your bones already know. We'll see you at the next fire.